All right, everybody. Welcome to our council meeting tonight. Before we get started, I do want to say Valentine's Day is coming up, so please make sure you get flowers for your wife or your significant other. Don't forget, like I have in the past. I don't want you to relive that. But tonight we have a special guest here. We have Chase with Loganville Baptist Church, and lead us off with invocation, and then we'll have Jeff lead us in the pledge.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for having me today. Yeah, if you'll stand as we pray, we'll go ahead and pray together. Father God, we come to you today, grateful for all the blessings that you've given us, the lungs, the ability for us to get up, the mission that you've given us. You have richly blessed us in so many ways. One of the blessings that I'm grateful for, Father, is being in this community. The way that you have orchestrated ministries and organizations, community leaders, partnerships, leaders in so many different facets of our community. God, I'm grateful. Your word tells us that we should pray for our leaders, and we do. God, I know that you have richly blessed us as a community in so many different ways. And tonight as we pray for our council meeting, God, we know in Scripture that wisdom comes from you, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and if any of us lack wisdom, we should ask you. God, you are our ultimate leader, you are a provider, you are a protector. And God, my prayer is that we always follow faithfully after you. And I'm grateful for the ways that the leaders in this room have led. God, may we continue to keep your people in our minds and in our hearts as we make decisions for the organizations, for the families, for the individuals that we lead in our day-to-day lives. God, we pray for our community. There are so many who are broken, hurting, so many who are looking for wisdom or help. They feel like they're in isolation and they're desperate. And then on the other side, there are those who are celebrating success. They're looking at life, and the cup is always full. And God, I pray that as we experience the highs and the lows, that you remind us of our need for Jesus. Now, you walk with us every step of the way. So God, I pray that we commit our ways to you. God, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. God, we pray all this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chase. Jeff, our new assistant city manager, I guess he's not that new anymore. Would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
With all those present who are citizens of the United States, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. That was quite impressive, really. Caught me off guard there. Dang. I mean, that's a regular thing for you, Jeff. All right. Adoption of the agenda. So we, for those who are in the crowd, we agreed on certain things last meeting. That's on the consent agenda. So we need to adopt the rest of the agenda for the meeting as well. Any modifications, or can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
We got a motion by Patty.
Second.
Second by Keith. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Thank you all so much. Before we really get started today, I wanted to read a proclamation. Literacy rates here in Georgia really need help improving. And so as the mayor, I signed up for the Mayor's Reading Club, which will be where I'm going to go read at the library about every quarter at our local library, and I'm partnering with Bay Creek Elementary School, our local school. And a lot of it is to help before third grade, where it switches from reading to learn, and then goes from learning to read, and then reading to learn. So I'm going to read this, and I will thank Janelle for taking out as many whereases as she could from this proclamation. I'm just going to sit from here and do it. I'm not going to go out and stand and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to read it as it is. Mayor's Reading Club Day proclamation. Whereas literacy is not just an education issue, it's an economic, workforce, and quality of life issue. Research shows that children who can't read proficiently by the end of third grade are more likely to experience poor health, have discipline problems, and drop out of high school. And whereas each year in the United States, low literacy rates are linked to hundreds of billions of dollars in non-productivity, health care, and judicial costs. And whereas the Mayor's Reading Club program is offered through Georgia Forward, a Georgia Municipal Association managed nonprofit. The goal of the program is to improve literacy skills and overall success with early reading among children and youth in Georgia. Cities through encouragement, support, and leadership from city mayors. And whereas Georgia Forward has commissioned a children's book series to use as part of the program to teach young readers about local government, with a copy of the first 3 books of the series titled Georgia Caroline Visits City Hall, Georgia Caroline Visits Our Hometown Heroes, and Georgia Caroline Visits the Water Treatment Plant. That's the best book, actually, out of all of them. The Mayor's Reading Club is flexible and can be delivered in person or virtually. It promotes partnerships and collaboration between cities, schools, county, public libraries, and local nonprofits and business community. I, Brandon Whitfield, Mayor of the City of Loganville, do hereby join the Mayor's Reading Club program and proclaim today as the Mayor's Reading Club Day. All right. And so with that said, if you want to take part in this, please reach out to me because I can have a literacy team. And there's a lot more that we really can do. There's other local organizations that would probably love us to get in contact with them and actually go out and read as much as we can. So, all right. So, the audit presentation. You want to take this over, Danny, or we? All right. Well, come on up and let's hear the audit.
So excited.
You know it.
Well, my name is David McCoy. This is Miss Marquika Gale with me here. We're here representing the firm of McNair, McLemore, Middlebrooks, who performed your external audit for the FY25 audit process. Can y'all see?
We have it.
Okay, you have it. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so I see some familiar faces up here. I see some new faces up here. So for each of y'all that don't know me, it's nice to meet you. If you have any needs or anything throughout the year, by all means, just reach out to us. Mr. Danny has our contact information, and I know some of you have our contact information. So we're always available to assist in anything that we can. With that being said, we always like to start off talking about the opinion. So I always tell everybody when I'm presenting, it's a big report. There's a lot of pages here, but the only part of this report that actually belongs to the auditor is the opinion. The rest of this report belongs to the city. And we are very pleased to be able to disclose to you that the opinion that was issued on this set of financial statements is what we call an unmodified opinion. That's a clean opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that we can issue on a set of financial statements. So what that means is that your finance staff has done a tremendous job of staying abreast to the new GASBs and compliance standards that are required of them in accumulating and providing the information to us so that we can go through your information and assist in compiling it into this report form so that it will meet the requirements for the state of Georgia and for the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, because this report actually had a compliance audit attached to it also. So if anybody has any questions, by all means, stop me. I don't mind trying to answer your questions. If not, I'll just keep talking. So in the beginning of the presentation here, we put together some slides. A lot of times it's a little bit easier to see the information presented in this format. So the first slide that we have here is it's a 5-year trend of the revenues for the city. And you'll see that the city has had, for the last 5 years, has had a continued growth. So each year, the revenues have continued to increase. You'll see the biggest gains are in the areas of property and other taxes, and then intergovernmental revenue. I would suspect the intergovernmental revenue bucket is probably going to decrease a little bit, not necessarily in '26, but probably in 2027, because that's when all of your ARPA money will be used up. Y'all still have some ARPA money that will be getting used in 2026. So there'll still be a fair amount of intergovernmental revenue in '26, but in '27, you're probably going to see a little bit of a decline in that area unless the city attains some other type of federal grant support. Kind of in line with the revenue this is your 5-year expenditure graph, and you'll see that it's also increased, but not at the levels of your revenue. So the revenues have grown at a faster pace than your expenditures, which is always a good thing. But you'll see the big bucket here is public safety. That's not unusual. That's very, very normal for a government of your size. The public works would be your next biggest bucket there. So each year when we're going through your financial records, we have to do an analysis to determine what's considered a major fund, what's considered a non-major fund. So for this reporting cycle, your major funds was your general fund, your American Rescue Fund, the 2019 SPLOST, and then your water, sewer, and solid waste enterprise funds. There are other funds, non-major funds, that are in the back of the report. So if there's a particular fund that you're interested in, that information is provided to you. It's just in the back of the report, and then it's consolidated and reported to you in the front of the report. Okay. So just quickly looking here at your general fund balance sheet, you'll see the biggest asset the city has is cash with just over $18 million. That's a significant amount of cash there. And therefore flowing over to your unassigned fund balance, which is also right at $18 million. I know this board's actually asked me in the past, is that a good balance to have in your unassigned fund balance? I actually, in reading through and preparing to be here tonight, I pulled up the new GFOA recommendations. And they're pretty much still in line with how they've been than we've reported to you in the past. 2 to 3 months worth of operating expenditures is what they recommend, or roughly 20%. So the city of Loganville does meet that, and it appears to be in really good financial standing. So that's the bucket of money that you guys are able to make decisions on for going forward to how to best serve your citizens. This is the last 5-year fund balance. So you'll see that the fund balance has grown each of the last 5 years. You probably would have expected that since the revenue exceeded the expenditures, but this is a chart that shows you that. You'll see here that the city had approximately 13.7 months worth of expenditures in the ending fund balance. The portion that's included in the unassigned bucket is 13.3 months, which is very strong. This is a breakdown of your revenues for the general fund. You'll see the majority of your revenues, right at just under $15 million, is in taxes. There's some intergovernmental, so total revenues was just over $17.5 million. And this is a chart showing your revenue being broken down here. This is a breakdown of your general fund expenditures. So you'll see expenditures here are broken down: general government 4.3, public safety the 7.6, public works 2.3. So your total expenditures was just over $16 million. And again, here's a pie chart that kind of shows that. This is very typical of a Georgia city of your size. This breakdown. The general fund did have a lease this year that was issued. So you'll see the lease coming in here at the $54,000. There were some capital assets that were sold, so we had some proceeds here of $48,000, and then there was some transfer from other funds of the $41,000. So the total net change in your general fund balance was just under 1.5 million to end the year at 18.5. Your other major special revenue fund, again, is your ARPA fund. The main thing I want to point out here is the line item that's called the unearned grant revenue, that one right at 1.3 million. It's just important to know that that money has to be spent by December of 2026. You guys, that money is obligated, so you already have the projects in place, and you very well possibly have already spent that money by now. But I just want you to know that that money has to be spent by December 2026. This is a breakdown here of your revenue and expenditures. You'll see there's just a slight change of the 62,000 in this fund, and so the ending fund balance was 233,000. Anybody have any questions? No? Keep talking? Okay. All right, so we got the 2019 splosh here. That's the splosh that's actually collecting. You'll see that your cash balance at the end of the year was 9.4 million. Had a little bit in the AP. The majority of the funds are restricted for the referendum that was approved for this splosh. That's just over 9.2 million. And this was the usage of the funds, the majority of which you'll see was for capital outlay purposes. So your total change in fund balance was an increase of $1 million to end the year at the 9.2. I always like to point out here also when I'm presenting splosh funds that at some point during the process, you will start showing a deficit in your net change in fund balance, and that's not a bad thing. That's just how the splosh funds operate. So right now, the city's collecting these funds, and so you got the increase in fund balance. In future years, you're going to be using that money. So obviously, you're going to have a decrease in fund balance when you start collecting on the next splosh. So I like to point out, so a lot of times people will see a deficit fund balance, and they correlate that to being a negative, and so not necessarily with a splosh fund. This is a breakdown of the 2019 splosh. So you'll see that there's 3 buckets of money here: transportation, public safety, parks and rec. And again, you'll see for the current year, there was a total of $635,375 spent. There's still a remaining $3.2 million left in this splosh in accordance with the budget. Obviously, you can collect more money than what was originally budgeted, but that's how it was there. That's in accordance with the original budget. This is your water sewer fund. Again, the city's water sewer fund is really strong. You'll see that you've got 10.8 million in cash. You've got another 3.7 in restricted cash. Those are cash accounts that are restricted in accordance with the bond covenants there. And you have some capital assets there that's just 3.3 million. So your total assets was just over 49 million. You have a little bit of AP, some accrued payables, things of that nature. The biggest liability that you have in this fund are those revenue bonds. There's 2 bond issues here, the 2018 and the 2019s, that are being paid timely. And that you'll see that the net position for the water sewer fund ended at just over 31.6 million. The important thing to see here is that change in net position, the 2.3 million. That's really strong. That does include the capital contributions of the 1.5. Those capital contributions are additions to the infrastructure of the system. You'll see the number that we have in green here is the 1,022,000. That's your income from operations. So what that tells me as the auditor evaluating your statements is that you guys have your rates. Your rates are covering the cost of operation, which is good. You would be amazed that a lot of local governments your size do not generate enough operating income to cover the expenses, and therefore they have to subsidize it with the general fund. So that's really good to see that your rates are covering operations. This is your solid waste fund. You'll see again the biggest asset is your cash, 4.2 million. The ending net position for the year is the 4.5 million. And it also showed a increase from operating income of just over 600,000. Okay. And this is a list of your non-major governmental funds. I think probably the more important ones are your three other splashes here. I would imagine that 2025 splash is probably going to become a major fund next year as it really gets going. But this year it's still considered non-major. We do have some selected note disclosures for you. This is a breakdown of your fund balance. So this takes all your fund balance for the various funds, breaks it down as far as non-spendable, restricted, assigned, unassigned. And again, the city's ending fund balance for the year was just over 36 million. What you have here is a detailed schedule of your changes in your long-term debt. And you'll see that beginning column there, that beginning row there has got the word restated over the beginning there. That restatement is not due to anything that was done wrong by finance. That is the implementation of GASB 101 for your compensated absences for your sick leave. So every local government in the state of Georgia that implemented that GASB, if it was a material number to the local government, has this same restatement. So again, I just like to point out that that's not a negative. That's just an implementation of a new GASB. And this is your changes in long-term debt for your business type activities. The city does have the one component unit, the Loganville Development Authority, and they do not issue separate financial statements, but we have included a detailed report of their information within your report. So if you need that information, you have that information presented to you at the government-wide level and at the fund level within your report. As I mentioned earlier, so this report also has a compliance audit attached to it. So in the very back on page 75, you'll see a schedule called the Schedule of Findings and Question Cost. This is for the federal audit portion, and it just gives you a really good summary of everything within the report. So again, it tells you that we issued an unmodified opinion, that there were no material weaknesses identified, no significant deficiencies identified, and non-compliance. There was no non-compliance identified in the report. The major program that was tested for this year was the American Rescue Plan. I would anticipate that same program being tested again next year because of the money that we were talking about that has to be spent. Will more than likely require that program to be tested again next year. So that's my presentation, unless anybody has any other questions.
I want to say thank you real quick before we get down into questions. And also, I want to make a note that this is unmodified. This is a very good audit. So I want to say thank you to our financial team for doing such a good job and everything that y'all do. So thank y'all so much. All right, now let's open it up for any questions for the auditor.
Anybody got questions? No?
I just want to reiterate what Brandon said. Congratulations. Very nice. Thank y'all.
I third that. Y'all did a great job, and Danny, with all the profits and the income and whatnot, great job yourself. So thank you a lot. I have questions just because of my own stupidity more than anything. It's not that anybody did anything wrong. We approved the correction, when I say we, council approved a budget amendment for $802,000, somewhere around there anyway, for buildings. Do you, as I recall, Natalie, correct me if I'm wrong, that was advised by the CPA, right, that adjustment be made, that correction be made?
I mean, more than likely. So at the end of every audit process,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Property that was
from assets, yeah.
Reclass to capital assets, so at the
Okay.
fund level, there were expenditures, that's what she's asking.
I was just curious as to what prompted that change. That was my question.
So, and I can't, I'm on the spot right now, so forgive me, but we have another new GASB where you evaluated capital assets. So if you actually go to page, I guess it's not here. If you would have looked at last year's report on page 15, you would have saw an investment line for assets held for resale
Right.
of about $908,000 from memory. So in implementing that new GASB, we determined that those properties no longer met that definition and they needed to be reclassed as capital assets.
Okay.
So, government-wide level, we report capital assets. At the fund level, you do not report capital assets because it's at the current financial resource model. So therefore, capital assets are reported as capital outlay expenditures at the fund level. So that's why that budget amendment was needed, because you had an increase of about $908,000 in expenditures that were not spent, no money exchanged, but it increased the expenditures line item. So that's why the budget amendment was needed.
Okay.
Yeah,
When you-
so the GASB, when the GASB come out, it said, okay. there-
And that's new, right? I didn't mean
It's
to
new.
interrupt. Just
Yes.
check. That's a new, okay.
There's gonna be some more next year.
Okay.
They're working overtime.
They are, yes.
So what they come out and they said, okay, a government can no longer report something as an asset held for resale unless they intend to and have the ability to sell that asset within the next 12 months.
Okay, that was my
Okay? And
question.
so then once it was determined that the asset that you guys had been carrying on the balance sheet was not gonna be sold in the next 12 months, in fact, I think a portion of that particular asset was getting put into operations, then it had to get moved to a capital asset item. And so the only way to get it off of your balance sheet at the governmental fund level is, in essence, for lack of a better word, it has to be shown as basically bad debt.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's an expenditure line item, which is a required budgeted line item. And so
Okay.
that's what caused the budget amendment to be needed.
Okay. Like I say, we approved it, so there wasn't anything wrong with it. I just
Right.
didn't
Wanted to
know,
understand it.
didn't
Well, it's an
understand why we
unusual
did it.
transaction. I mean, that's unusual. I mean, that's not, you don't see that every day.
Yeah, yeah. And the GASB, or maybe it wasn't GASB, whatever the 101 for the compensated, is that's new, I think you said
That's
when you
new.
were
Yes,
presenting
ma'am.
it. So what was going on previously?
Okay, so GASB 101, there's a lot, there's more in GASB 101 than what was required for you guys to implement. The component that the city of Loganville needed to implement was for your sick leave.
Right.
So in the past, most local governments in the state of Georgia have the policy where when an employee leaves employment, whether they retire or terminated or resign, you're not paid for your sick leave. Well, the GASB people come out and they said, yes, but, okay, what if they're employed for the next 20 years? They're going to be using that leave over the next 20 years. Even though when they leave in 20 years, they're not taking it with them, they do have the ability to use that leave in the next 20 years. So they come up with this really complicated analysis that had to be done to determine, okay, so what is that liability? So we had to go through a process of evaluating that to determine what the liability for the sick leave truly was. And so when you implement a GASB, you have to also implement it in the beginning balances, not just the ending balances.
I saw that,
That's
yeah.
what creates the restatement.
Okay. So was the computation presented to you through the GASB, or did you arrive at the computation? You know how you
They give you
computed it?
guidance on what you have to do. So
Okay, so they tell-
you take 3 to 5 years worth of sick leave usage,
Okay,
and then you determine, okay, are these employees still there? Or if there's an employee left, you back
Okay.
that out, and then it's just a math equation after that.
they have been busy. So prior to this new 101, it
There
was
wouldn't
being
have been
done
anything.
correctly, it just,
Right.
they
Oh, yeah.
changed it?
That's correct. That's
Okay,
correct. That's
okay.
correct.
That was my main thing, just to make sure that we were on track. That's been answered, that's been answered. We're on a roll. Oh, Public Works, on page, I don't know if your book is the same.
It is.
It is.
Okay, page 7. If I can even get to it. It was just such a change. I just didn't know where it says governmental activities and you come down to Public Works. I don't know, did you get involved or ask questions about why that change was more significant than any of the others?
Are you talking about in the expenditures line item?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Well, we definitely know I don't have it in front of me, but we know what causes the difference.
What?
Well, I'm saying I don't have it in front of me, but we have an analytical work paper that walks through all the significant changes.
Oh, okay.
And then we have those changes documented. I just don't have that in front of me
Okay,
tonight.
I thought you meant, never mind.
But that being said, the answer is going to be your ARPA money being spent. So there was almost $2 million worth of ARPA money spent in Public Works. And I think this is the
Okay.
first year y'all really spent the ARPA money, isn't it?
It was if my memory serves me, the ARPA paving from end of '24, it was like $890, something like that.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
part of it.
So that's the biggest component of it.
Well, I love them getting the money, you know, I love my Public Works, so I just was curious because it just kind of stood out above all the rest.
Right, and that's kind of what we were talking about. So next year, there's another 1.2 million of that bucket that has to be spent. But then after that bucket's gone. So you're gonna see that trend go the opposite way
Yeah,
more than likely.
yeah.
I think the other amount too was the extra ARPA we got. We got 2 ARPAs extras. I mean, I said ARPA, 2 LMIGs, thank you. 2 LMIGs in that
That's
one year.
right. The state give out that supplemental, the MIG money.
Yeah.
The LARS, I think they called it.
That's right, because that is Public Work, yeah, okay.
That's roads, so that's Public Works also.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Okay, page 29. This is more accounting methods, I think, than a question about that. The current financial resources management, is that a form of an accounting method? What's the difference in that and just say regular accrual or something, you know?
Well, I hadn't quite figured out where you're at on page 29.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm at the 1 to 3rd paragraph.
Okay, so the current financial measurement focus is on the modified accrual basis of accounting.
Okay,
All right, and so when you say full accrual, all right, that's a different basis of accounting. So all your governmental funds, which is your general fund, your ARPA funds, SPLOSH funds, those are all reported on the modified accrual basis.
okay,
Your water fund and your solid waste fund is at the full accrual level, because those are proprietary funds.
okay.
And so that's just two different.
And that's a
two different
requirement.
measurement focuses, is all
That-
it is.
I mean, you're not just doing it to be, you're required to do it this way because of the government
Right. So-
aspect.
And so if you look at page, page 16 and 18,
Uh-huh.
what those two reconciliations are doing is walking you between modified accrual over to full accrual.
Okay.
That's what those two reconciliations are doing there.
It seemed to be the difference, and I may have interpreted this all wrong, something about the 60 days after the end of the
Well,
tax year.
So
and-
the 60 days is a component of the modified accrual.
Okay, that's what I
And so what
saw.
that allows, what that says is that you can, so a typical government collects money after year end, and it allows them to pull that money back in to the current year. It's mainly a property tax analysis that happens.
Okay. I got all into the where it's collectible or collected.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to kind of make a difference in that 60-day thing. So I was curious. So that's more because of a governmental type of accounting, right? I mean.
That's
municipal-
what it is,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, I did have a question about the 60 days when you're pulling it back in, you know, if it's paid. Do you make an adjusting journal entry, or is that required?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. That would be for the monies collected. I should be looking over here.
I actually think that Natalie already has that adjustment booked, but we do recalculate it and make sure it's
Okay,
correct.
okay,
For most governments, we actually have to make that
Yep,
adjustment
that's right.
ourselves, but
Yep.
they take care of it here.
that's because they're good. Tourism Department, Danny, this may be actually your question. It went up to 417,000 in expenses. Did we change what went into it? That was there? Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at tourism stuff. Okay. So tourism now has
Moving forward, all the concert series
events and whatnots.
will come out of hotel fund.
So should we always expect a negative balance in there? I don't know about always. That might be a strong choice of words.
6,000 now, something like that? No.
It said you collected 68,000 in the
No,
expense.
so what happened here, so the state come out and issued some additional guidance saying that a hotel motel fund shouldn't typically carry a fund balance.
Okay,
And so what was so that fund began the year with a fund balance because there was other activity that was being paid out of the general fund. And so in order to not show a fund balance, that activity that was in the general fund got transferred to the hotel motel fund in order to show a zero fund balance in accordance with what the state's recommended.
okay,
So again, that's what I was talking about earlier. Every negative is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
That is basically the city getting in compliant with what the state recommends.
okay. And so, and say next year and years to come, it's not going to be quite.
There'll be a zero change.
Right, okay. And this is really I don't know if it's a Danny question or not, but just for my own edification, the donations, the contributions we get from all the different businesses, that goes in the general fund, right? That's not offsetting this. Okay, two different funds. That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that. Okay. Let me see, that might be. Oh, just one more kind of general question, David. Internal control, y'all mentioned that a lot going through, you know, that you're only looking at it from a certain perspective and, you know, you can't promise this or you can't are you satisfied with the internal controls based on what you have looked at? Is there something that,
We are satisfied, because if we wasn't satisfied, we would have a finding in the back of this report saying that.
Okay. Well, I just know every time you brought it up, and it could just be me reading something into it, you said you couldn't establish, you know, any material deficiencies or fraud or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
But the internal controls for your purposes were good. So for your purposes should be good enough for our purposes, I think is my question, correct? Or no,
I mean, you certainly should always be evaluating internal controls and policies and whatnot throughout the operations of the city, because things change, you know, all
Okay.
the time. New staff's hired, staff's retire, you know, people are always changing positions. So the biggest thing, you know, concern you could have as an auditor is, okay, we've got controls documented one way, and then on the first of the year, ABC employee retires. Well, ABC employee was the compensated control that made the process work. Now, all of a sudden,
Right.
this employee's not here, maybe for 6 months. So as a council member, I think you should always be evaluating changes within the local government and what effects it has on internal controls.
okay.
Because controls change.
Yeah,
It evolves
yeah.
as the city grows and as staff turns over.
Do you think that municipalities or government agencies or anybody should have forensic audits every so often?
Nah, a forensic audit, so this is what a forensic audit is, okay? It's a 100% transactional test, okay? For the city of Loganville, that would carry a price tag of hundreds of thousands of dollars
Okay,
to do.
okay.
A lot of people like to throw that big word around, forensic audit. You hear it all the time in the news. And most times, they don't understand what it is, okay? Again, a forensic audit is a 100% transactional
Yeah,
test.
yeah.
So that means every single check's looked at, every single deposit's looked at, 100%. What an audit does, an audit assesses risk, okay? Where are my high-risk areas? Where are my material transactions? You go in, you test those risk areas, and you test your material transactions so that you can then issue an opinion that says, these financial statements are materially correct.
By test, what does that mean to you?
It means we look at everything. We look at the
Invoices, everything?
everything.
Okay, okay. Is there a more modified, where more invoices are tested than a certified would give you? Is there a modification between certified and forensic, somewhere there in the middle? Okay, so it's one or the other?
Yeah, it's one of the,
Okay.
either, yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I hope I'm following your question. but
Yes,
yeah,
I'm not making any sense, so if you're following it, you're doing good. Yeah, you answered it perfectly, so
Okay.
thank you. That's it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank y'all for having us.
We got any more questions? Okay.
All right.
Thank y'all so much.
If I could just follow up, basically, what you've said throughout this whole thing is the staff here has done 100% what they should do and have done the correct thing the whole way through.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And thank y'all so much for explaining a lot of this to us.
We
Yes.
try. We might not necessarily always do it perfectly, but we're going to
Oh,
try.
y'all did great. Thank y'all so
Okay,
much.
Thank y'all.
And if y'all do have questions of them, they are great to answer anything
Answer
you've
them.
got, so if you ever
Good to
call
know.
them.
Awesome. Now up next is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the consent agenda is signed, or is approved. Up next is Planning and Development Committee report. Lisa, do you have anything tonight?
We don't have anything new other than Melanie just brought to my attention, asked me to mention that we had about 750 people tune in and watch the kickoff meeting on
That's
YouTube.
good.
Yeah, so.
A lot of
very-
interest. One of our
Lot of
highest
interest.
ones.
So we do have citizens that want to be engaged, they just might not be in this room. So I do want to encourage, I know the thing at the Rock Gym is not. Yeah, I don't know if we can find some way maybe to record it with a standalone camera that we could upload. But there are people engaged and they want to be a part of it. And the Codapalooza, most people are going to be at work during the day when they're here.
Yeah,
I
and they
just-
need to see what's,
To see how it's
anyway,
being-
Danny, anyway.
So some of those classes, some of them actually do have classes, right? So those possibly could be, I would think. I might be putting words in your mouth, Danny, I'm sorry. But the other part is more hands-on, from the way I understand it. So you're like playing like you're a local city planner and learning the process and actually putting hands on things. So I don't know how useful that would be on YouTube, just seeing people meandering around a room. So it's not so much them talking and stuff like that. And I believe that's more one-on-one. If you can come by that day, come ask questions, stuff like that day, more so than we're gonna sit you out here in the audience and talk to you about stuff. But I do know there are, I believe, what, 2 or 3 that they are too.
Yeah, we asked the consultant about that. Thing with the Rock Gym, you can put a camera, but you're not gonna hear nothing, because it's just such a large room and it echoes. That's what Kyle was talking to. But the opening and the closing will be YouTubed, because it'll be in here. So it's just the breakout sessions. I don't know how you would do that. You could put a camera in there, but I don't think you would hear.
Quick question for you on that. On the YouTube thing, is there a way that they can post questions that could be answered at a later time? Or I know in some Zoom meetings you have that capability. I was just wondering if that's
I would just say
available.
they would just probably best is to email staff the questions.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all think, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I tune into live cams here and there, and watch these fish on this pier, and I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to tune in just to look at it.
We can certainly broadcast it, but you're not going to hear nothing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Unless
that's what I'm
everybody-
saying. Yeah, to me,
Right.
it's fine if we don't hear it, but
Okay.
just to see.
Well, I'll get a
So
camera set up
that-
and,
You're okay with not hearing, just seeing?
Just so you know, your opening session, that first night, that'll be your most public engagement, hands-on, so, and that'll be in here. So you'll have sort of the most intensive public engagement element on the YouTube. But it is people kind of going around from sort of station to station, table to table, doing activities.
Well, for those of us that might not be there the whole thing, and we could tune in, like I said, and we can see if there's people there, if they're engaged and things like that, so. If
And
we can
just
do
for
it
anybody watching.
cost effectively, then yeah, but.
And they can come, they being the citizens, can come anytime during, they don't have to come from 12 to 1. They can, if they've got questions, they can stop by, right? And how long will that be? I mean, till like 5 or 6 in the evening, or do you know?
They have the Coda
sheet
Palooza
here.
flyer. I
We
believe this got.
posted it.
Yeah, and I printed it off from the website and online. And it's, Monday is the opening presentation and the hands-on workshop at City Hall, and that starts at 6:30. Tuesday is 12 to 1, where they're going to break out into topical meeting room, or topical meeting 1, which is housing and neighborhood character. And then 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the second one for that day, which is infill and redevelopment. But the rest of that day, I believe the studio will be open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Great.
So people can come after work the best that they can. I know some of us coming on 2 wheels, coming from the other side of Atlanta and stuff. But we do have a lot of hours planned for this, is my understanding, because Wednesday, same thing, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then Thursday, I believe they said it was a shortened day because they're going to take a lot of their findings from the other 2 days and that day to
Okay.
then be able to present something to us, not a final plan or anything, just to give us a heads up on what is actually, what the citizens were kind of discussing about
Okay.
in those meetings.
And then, if I'm not mistaken too, Brandon, Robbie's got his email on there should they have questions, right? Somewhere down at the bottom of that flyer, as I recall.
Yeah, so you can go on buildbetterloganville.com, and it is a great website, to be honest, because you can actually go in there and just put in your name, address, and you can actually just fill out what you want to. Like, if you can't make these meetings.
Okay.
I've been telling people, I went and taught that triad the other day, and I let them know about it, and I said, if y'all can't make the meeting, I completely understand. I'd love to see y'all there in person if you can. But if not, go on the website and fill out what you like, what you don't like. A lot of the questions they have prompts on there, and they're open-ended.
And the
So you
website's
can-
listed on there too, right?
It is,
How
and
they can
it's-
do that? Great.
Yep,
Okay.
buildbetterloganville.com, and it's at the bottom of both pages.
Okay.
And it does have Robbie Swartz's email on here too.
So
But I will
there's all
say, if you
kinds of
go
access.
to the website, it has
yeah,
all
they
the
need
information.
to go to the website for the question, because it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Go to the website for the
go to
questions.
the buildbetterloganville.com. If you scroll to the bottom, you fill out your name and your email and ask your question.
Okay. So if you
And
can't
then I'll
make
just,
it,
let me say this with the cameras. I don't know if we have the bandwidth because there's not a wired internet up there. I think it's by antennas. So that may be something that we cannot stream because you're talking about streaming for 12 hours or, I'm sorry, 10 hours.
That's a lot of data.
So we may not have the bandwidth to stream, but we will definitely record it, but it may be uploaded later. But
Okay.
y'all want me to record for all 10 hours per day? That's what I'm understanding from y'all? Even if there's nobody there, you want to
if we're
record?
not doing, I mean, if
Yeah.
there's not a work session or a.
Maybe especially the breakout sessions,
So,
for sure.
so
Just the
from 12,
breakouts.
just so I'm clear, on Tuesday, the 24th, from 12 to 1, that's a breakout. 6 to 7 is the next breakout. Next day is 12 to 1, and then the next day is actually in the room after the, so those are what you want recorded? Okay, that'd be a lot
Think so.
easier than 10 hours.
Then live feeding it, yeah. Is council good with that?
Yeah, Bob's giving me, I don't know.
Okay. Well, Danny will do his best to get it done, I'm sure.
They will do their best.
And that is all we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Up next is the Finance Committee report. Keith?
Thank you, Mayor. What we have here is what we talked about Monday night, about the payment for the audit that we have. And any questions about that? I think everybody had pretty good understanding there. All right, at that point, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this and payment be made as soon as possible.
It's for fiscal year 2026, so you're
Approving
approving
for next year.
to engage with them again to audit
Thank you.
fiscal year 2026.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Awesome.
So, I mean, they did such a fabulous job this year. I don't see a need to change right now.
I agree.
So we have a motion by Keith. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Patty Wolf. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any against? All right. Thank you, Keith. Anything else?
No, sir, that is it. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. Up next, we have Public Safety Committee report. Melanie Long.
Well, I was going to do just a little brief thing on the police, the year-end
Report.
report. Unfortunately, because I had to wear this suit, my brains went out my head, and it's laying on my butcher block in my kitchen. So I'll bring that, and we'll talk about that in March.
Awesome.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Good deal, thank you. Yeah, and in case y'all noticed, we're all dressed especially nice tonight because we had our group photos today. So when you come into City Hall, you will see our photo hanging up over there. All right. Up next is Public Utilities Committee report. Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, of course, I had an item covered under the consent agenda that's taken care of. I do have one other kind of update. So, and this goes into transportation as well. We have the State Route 20 project. You know, we're working to get our utility relocations worked out and we're seeking utility aid from the state. And so there's a concern that what we're trying to do, what we're seeking is replacing the new sewer main that we're putting out there. We want to put out, instead of what's there is a ductile iron, we want to put an HDPE. The state has looked at that. So this is I've talked to the state utility engineer, Danny. So the hard part is this whole question of betterment of it. And so when you look at it from the definition is, well, why do you want to do the HDPE? Because you know it's going to last longer, so that's a betterment. Okay, so we have to get past that, right? But in talking with GDOT, Danny, is what we need, and I know, so we've got Keck and Wood, right, has worked out what we need as far as their 44 series plans. They'll have to do an estimate, and they got to do an estimate of all all the components, all the connectors and all that, right? But if we can go ahead and do an estimate of the ductile iron, so just so you have an idea what's going on, so we have the existing is a 10-inch ductile iron pipe. It's got an internal diameter of like 10.648 inches. We're going to a larger diameter HDPE, but the wall thickness is thicker, so the internal diameter is just ever so slightly less than. So from a city standpoint, it's like that's better. From a cost, from a maintenance standpoint, it's better because it's going to last longer than ductile iron. But it's not really going to deliver that much anymore sewage, right? So that's water under the road.
Or sewage.
But sewer. But what we need them to do, Danny, is to do an estimate and provide both. And there were, at least, I was very thankful for them to say that. Let's just go ahead and get the estimates. They'll look at it. They see these, and they said that, if it's comparable, they could still work with us on getting it. And even if it comes in higher, then, it just changes the level of utility aid. But anyway, so it's.
Will that need to go through utility aid or through you?
Sir?
Send that to the
Yeah,
utility
just
aid?
keep going, doing what
Okay.
you're doing, but the state utility engineer knows about it. And with that, I don't have anything else for this.
All right. So you gonna need to talk again for transportation as well? Or are you covered there?
Kind of covered both of them, yes.
You already covered both. Okay, good deal. Thank you, Bill. Up next is Facilities Committee Report. Wes?
Okay, we're working on getting the lights out in front of City Hall. Oh, you got them done?
Awesome.
Appreciate it. So, that's done.
Man, y'all were on it. Good job.
No, that was Danny. He took care of that. We just talked about this on Monday, and it's been handled.
There we go.
As far as litter and trash and stuff, 200 pounds. Number of stops, they made 255 stops, which equivalated to 10.5 tons. So, things recycled and stuff. That's it.
Tell them you love them. You got to do that
Oh,
with
I love everybody.
Well, thank y'all so much. It looks like we got the dream team working on getting lights fixed in no time.
Yep.
It's still a month out, but I do want to remind everybody of the citywide cleanup day that's coming up on the 28th of March. I will say I kind of rebranded that just a little bit. It's still the citywide cleanup day, all that kind of stuff. But I talked to a lot of the local churches to come out, and the Boy Scout troops, and Rotary Club, Lions Club. I will be talking to Women's Club soon as well. To come out to get as many people there to help clean the streets that we can. I believe last time we had about 50-ish people show up, and I would like to try and do our best to double that number, try to get to at least 100 this year for the citywide cleanup. So please go ahead and put that on y'all schedules if y'all can. If y'all can make it, we'd love to see you there. And that's all I got on that for this month. There might be more next time.
I got one.
What's that?
The DDA is actually having their first event
They are, yep.
Saturday, this Saturday, day after tomorrow, from 10 to 2 at the Anna Holbrooks building. It's Smooch a Pet. They're raising money for local pet organizations, and they're trying to get the Walton County Humane Society, not the Animal Control, but the Humane Society, to bring some adoptable pets.
Awesome.
And to get exposure for those pets. And I think it's $5 a picture. They take your picture. They've got a kissing booth. It's adorable. Take a picture, $5, and all the money's going to a very good cause.
Awesome. That sounds fun.
It's for you to kiss your dog, not other people. Although,
Guess it depends on the person.
I guess.
Oh, I'm just kidding. All right. Up next is, okay, Bill, you already covered your Transportation Committee report. All right, City Manager's report. Danny, what you got for us tonight?
Just, I sent you all the email from the county about the pickleball court. That's something we talked about, Bill and I talked about, several of y'all last year. Y'all verbally gave me approval to go up to $200,000 with the county. So the county manager sent an email saying that it's been approved by the Board of Commissioners for Walton County, and they will start the bid phase with precision planning, and we'll have some pickleball courts at Meridian Park, and that will be a joint project with Walton County government and the city of Loganville.
Awesome. I know that
That's all I
pickleball
have.
is a hot commodity nowadays. Even though if you live right next to it, I hear that popping all the time. Thank you, Danny, so much. Paul, what you got for us tonight?
I have nothing for you folks this evening. I guess we kind of went through enough on Monday night, so nothing to report. Be happy to answer any questions you may have on anything that you need.
All right, and no executive session tonight?
No executive session
Oh,
tonight.
thank goodness. All right, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion for adjournment. We got Lisa,
Second.
second by Patty. All in favor, say aye. Thank you all for so much for coming.